I'm in Braselton because my now wife retired to Braselton with her first husband.
Okay.
Now, this poor guy retired and unfortunately 9 months later passed from a very rare kind of cancer. So my wife and I went to college together. I grew up in North Alabama in a little town with a funny name called Arab. It's just south of Huntsville, Alabama. But I went to Auburn University. I'm a chemical engineer. I have my bachelor's from there. And I knew my now wife. We were classmates there. And we went our separate ways. And then I run into her again at an alumni thing at Auburn. And she's living in Braselton. And tells me, much to my surprise, that she had such a crush on me in college that went completely over.
I had to get her confirmation of that. You know.
Oh, it completely stunned me, you know, and I told her, I said, that information would have been really helpful back then.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, things,
better late than never, right?
Yeah, things work in mysterious ways. So she was already here, and I was actually, so I worked for Southern Company. I went to Auburn, then I went to graduate school, and I went to MIT, and I have a PhD in chemical engineering from MIT. And so then I went to work in the power industry for Southern Company. Southern Company is the big company that owns Georgia Power, Alabama Power, Mississippi Power. And so I worked in their research department, but I was in Birmingham. So I grew up in Arab. I was still living in North Alabama, still living close to there, commuting to Birmingham, working. Well, I got transferred to Georgia Power, and so lived in Midtown. Right on 7th Street there. Okay. And so that's when I re-met what has now become the love of my life for the second time in her version. And so we got married in, let me get it right, 2014, as my job moved from Georgia back to Alabama. So I've been living here since really 2014, but I commuted for 3 years back and forth to Birmingham. So we're both retired. So you mentioned the corporate sort of stuff. So I rose up the corporate ranks, ended up as Southern Company's chief environmental officer. So I was doing all the negotiation with the Environmental Protection Agency about how power plants should meet regulations. But I also ran their research and development department, which is really my love. I have a PhD, and you do research when you have PhDs, that sort of thing. So wanted to work longer, but my wife said I've retired once. And didn't get to do fun things with my first husband, but we're going to do fun things together. So, and we do. But what that means is we could live anywhere we wanted to.
Yep.
You know, we're both free. We don't have family attachments to North Georgia. So we live in Braselton because we love it here.
Yep.
You mentioned some of the things here. It's close enough to Atlanta, but not too close.
Yep.
It's got a nice pace of living. We can get to the airport. We're close to the mountains. So we can get up to the mountains anytime that you want with an easy drive from here. And the airport, you can go anywhere typically on one airplane from the Atlanta airport. So that's a big benefit to us. The other thing that keeps us here is my business. So my wife, our general manager, and I own a local steakhouse called the Cotton Calf Kitchen. It's actually, Jacob, located in this building just to my right at the end of the building there.
Sounds like we're going to be getting lunch afterwards.
Was that an offer for free lunch today, Larry? Yeah, maybe an appetizer.
Unfortunately, we're not open for lunch, or we would go there. So we're open for dinner every night except for Sunday night.
All right, so podcast part 2 is an evening podcast.
Yeah. We could do that if you wanted to. My partner, the general manager, Vincent Price, a very, very interesting guy. So you would love talking with him about the restaurant.
So kidding, not kidding, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working in Birmingham. I'm sitting in my office in downtown Birmingham. The phone rings. It's my wife. She says, "I want to invest in a restaurant." My first reaction is, she's never been in the restaurant business. I've never been in the restaurant business. I think about the old adage about restaurants. There's really 3 strategies when you have a restaurant. Sell it, Chapter 7, Chapter 11, which means bankruptcy, obviously. Yeah. So you sell it or you go bankrupt. And typically that is the case. But so far, we are been going for 10 years now.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It is quite a feat to do that. And particularly, the last 10 years with COVID and then inflation. And it's hard for me to judge which of those impacts the restaurant business more.
Right.
We survived both of them. So we are now, really thanks to my partner, our general manager, we are typically ranked in the top 5 steakhouses in all of Georgia.
number one according to the mayor of Braselton, though.
100%.
That's the real ranking that matters.
Yes.
Let's say that's